Good evening.
Good evening.
Miss Debbie, would you call the roll for us, please?
Mr. Hennegan?
Here.
Mr. Derman?
Here.
Mr. Loup?
Here.
Mr. Harrell?
Here.
Mr. Nation?
Here.
Mr. Jeter?
Here.
Mrs. Seeley?
Running late.
Mrs. Drucker? Mr. Bettencourtt?
Here.
Mr. Womack?
Had a family emergency, running late.
Mr. Hursey?
Here.
Mrs. Mullet? Mr. Kuzan?
Here.
Mrs. Bellisario? And Mrs. Heintz.
Here. Thank you very much. Would you please stand and join us in the invocation and pledge led by Mr. Nation?
Let us pray. Direct us, O Lord, with your most gracious favor, that all our work, begun, continued, and ended in you, may find favor in your sight and provide support to our parents and children as we begin this new school year. Grant us all safe returns to our homes and families this evening. This we pray in your name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Appreciate that. We did not have anyone sign up for requesting time on the agenda, so we'll move into approval of the minutes from the committee as a whole meeting held on July 6, 2017. Do I have a motion to accept those minutes?
Second.
Moved by Mr. Derman, I think that was, and a second by Mr. Jeter. Do we have any comments from board members? Any comments from the public? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? So ordered. All right, that brings us to our instructional portion of the meeting tonight, and we have a report on the new teacher induction program by Mrs. Dangerfield.
Good evening. I am really excited this evening to share information with you about our new teacher induction program that we recently had on July the 11th through the 14th. We started off at Mandeville High School, so I'll share some information with you from our new teacher induction program. As we prepared for a new teacher induction, we had these objectives that we kept in mind. We wanted to provide an overview and set expectations for the new teachers to our district. We wanted to lay a foundation in various areas necessary for district success. We wanted to pinpoint any questions that our new teachers may have so we could make sure that those were answered as they entered into our school system. We wanted to identify key personnel who could be useful to them throughout their journey during their first year of teaching, and then provide an opportunity for them to network, for them to get to know each other so they can be a support system to each other as well. So look at our participants. For day one, we had about 201 people in attendance. And to highlight, it was 10 student teachers from our year-long residency program that we're going to partner with Southeastern who were in attendance as well on day one. We thought it would be a great idea to bring them in to see what a new teacher receives at the beginning of the year so they can have a complete picture from beginning to end. On day two, you see a breakdown of the numbers for our content teachers for the sessions that they attended on day two. And day three and day four, those are days for our special education teachers, and you can see the attendance for day three as well as day four. The agenda for day one, it was a district showcase. That's where we had all of our new teachers together, providing them with information that was just basically an overview for the district. Day two is the day that they really like the most. They get to spend an entire day with a teacher in our district learning about their grade level and or content. Day 3 and day 4, our special education new teachers, they are digging deeper into the special education material as well as receiving the NCI training. And then all of our schools are required to have a site-based orientation where they are familiarizing our new teachers with items that are specific to their individual schools. Well, to kick off the day, we had this very important person come to us that morning. Well, just in case you don't know this young man, it was Superintendent Foss.
That's right.
Superintendent Foss came and shared the highlights from our 2016-2017 school year. And I must say, for his entire presentation, the new teachers were really in tune and really engaged to what he was saying. Typically, when you come to new teacher induction, it's all about the instructional programs that you're going to learn about. But this presentation was not just about the instructional programs. It was about what we do in our district for the whole child and those things that we do in our community as well. So I think them providing a complete picture of what we do in the district are those things that hooked our new teachers in while he was giving our his presentation. Our district showcase for day 1. The new teachers were engaged in topics such as classroom management. They received an overview for Compass, preparing for that first week of school. Our evaluations from last year, the new teachers felt like they wanted tangible things that they could really use that first day and that first week of school. So we implemented that session this year. They received the special ed and 504 overview, information on knowing your who, really knowing those students in the classroom that they are responsible for teaching. And then we had a panel with teachers and administrators where the participants were able to submit questions and the panel provided answers for them. Curriculum Day, which is day 2, these were our host locations: Brock Elementary, Little Oak Middle, and Covington High School. And we had other smaller sites where we had our band teachers, maybe our music teachers, our counselors, but those were our major host locations for Curriculum Day for day 2. Moving on to day 3 and day 4, which was at the Treen Technology Center. Our teachers learned about SIR, IEPs, and progress reports, learned about writing and conducting IEPs and NCI training. What I really liked about day 3 and day 4 is that our special education department broke down these sessions based on the needs of our teachers. If we had a new teacher who had no experience with IEPs, then they got to work just with the group of people that had no experience. Or if they were a seasoned teacher and they knew about SIR, then that was the category they were in. Or if a seasoned teacher and they knew nothing about SIR, then that was the category or the group that they were placed in. So our special ed department really did a good idea of showing them what we expect of them in our classroom when it comes to differentiating instruction to meet the needs of our students. For the site-based orientation, the principals are required to do a training. What you see here are topics and suggestions that they must incorporate as a part of their site-based orientation. We want to make sure that even though the sites are different, that some of the information that's being provided is the same across the district. So this is the list that was provided for them to include in their site-based orientations. Now, just because new teacher induction is over does not mean the support stops for our new teachers. We have a Blackboard site that is just for new teachers. We provide them there with all of the resources from our new teacher induction program, plus additional resources with curriculum, technology, special education, and classroom management. And to follow that up, we do have monthly professional development through our Boost program that is designed specifically for new teachers. Our new teacher induction program would not be successful without our program supporters. Our St. Tammany Federation of Teachers, they provided their support as well as lunch on day one. The credit union, they provided breakfast on day one along with door prizes. Our district PTA, as well as Delta Kappa Gamma sorority, who was there volunteering and welcoming our new teachers on day one as well. And when you have a good program like this, you have a good leader. I want to publicly thank Sharnetta Robinson, who is our leader for our new teacher induction program, and the hard work that she does with coordinating this. As we focus on every teacher every day, I would like to share with you a brief clip put together by Channel 13, providing an overview from new teacher induction.
The newest teachers to join the St. Tammany Parish Public Schools family gathered in the Mandeville High School auditorium for new teacher induction to prepare for the upcoming school year.
We are welcoming our new teachers and new employees. This is new teacher induction, and this is an opportunity for them to network with other new teachers and employees coming into the school system.
This week-long exclusive event also gave the new teachers an opportunity to hear about the success of STPPS from St. Tammany Parish Public Schools Superintendent Trey Foles.
We've done a lot, accomplished a lot since school's been out, but we're ready to go. In a month, we'll be ready to go. So to see all these people, all their excitement, the new teachers, very exciting.
And new teachers like Megan Berry are excited to join the school system.
Well, I came here for my student teaching. I got placed here and I was super fortunate for that and really fell in love with the parish. I know it's an elite school system and I'm proud to be part of it.
Following a morning session, attendees broke out into workshops on topics like classroom management and student progress.
I'm hoping that they get all the information that they need because there's a lot of information for new teachers, of course, but I hope that they come away with the understanding that when we say every child, every day, that's truly not just a saying, but that's what we live and strive for in St. Tammany Parish.
And throughout the week, they went to school sites to go in depth with workshops relating to their specific grade or subject.
The main thing I would really look at, they talked about a lot of good classroom management techniques, ways of kind of deterring discipline issues and things like that, so I think that'll really help.
With this introduction into the school system, Barry, along with the other teachers, feel prepared and are ready to get into the classroom.
The induction has really helped me feel at ease. I was a little bit nervous, it's my first teaching job, but the induction has been really helpful and super exciting.
Grant Yenny, Channel 13.
In closing, in our school system, we focus on every child every day, but new teacher induction is a way for us to focus on every teacher every day. And this is yet another example of us working together for the betterment of our school system. Thank you.
Ms. Heintz, if I could, before Dorable, if everyone has any questions, I just want to say a special thank you to Dorable, as well as she mentioned Sharnetta, but Dorable and her staff have done a great job with this. And I know I say this every year, but I really think it was our best one ever. And I think that made it, the comments I got from people that were there, new teachers, were to have all the staff members, all of our staff members were the most involved they've ever been. And so they really gained a lot for that. And if you recall the end of year review that I do every year, remember the thunderstorm or the power went out or whatever it was. So we had the idea, Meredith, Regina, Rob, Miss Mullet, Dorable, all of them said, let's use that in our new teacher induction. So we used it there and we filmed it so we'll be able to use it the rest of the year. So it was a little different for me to do that one. And it really turned out to be our best one because it shared our successes of the past year with all the new people that were coming into our system. So what that night turned into be a weather issue that I was aggravated about, really turned into something that was special and got to share with a different group of people. And it was a great group, a lot of excitement, and I think it's a really good group. Mr. Jebber will tell you of people that we've hired, and I know they're excited to get into our school system. And as I mentioned to them, 500 or 600 people wanted the jobs, and you would have chosen one. So we're happy to have them in our system, and the work that everyone did to prepare for that, I think will benefit these new teachers as we move forward.
You could definitely feel the enthusiasm
Yes.
in the auditorium when board members were invited to attend, and we appreciated that, and we're excited for the teachers. Do we have any questions, Mr. Bettencourt?
Ms. Dangerfield.
Yes.
The 10 student teacher residency, is that new program where they spend like a whole year or two
Yes.
semesters in a classroom?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
We had 10 out of the 14 that we're going to have who were in attendance that day.
Okay. And like addressing what Mr. Foltz just said, Mr. Foltz and his staff, y'all always seem to be able to take lemons and make lemonade out of it.
We did on this one.
Thank y'all.
Especially when the kids are involved.
Thank you, Mr. Bettencourt. Mr. Loup?
I just wanted to follow up. I was going to ask the same question about if it was appropriate about those student teachers.
Yes.
They will be with the same teacher for the entire year?
Except for those who are in special education, they will do one semester with a regular ed teacher and one semester with a special ed teacher.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And we have 10, or we have more than 10? Only 10 were there that day?
We have a total of 14.
14.
That will be starting on Monday.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Loup. I have a question. The Boost monthly professional development, is that
Yes.
mandatory, or is it just if by teachers feeling a need for it?
It's on a volunteer basis, but we strongly encourage our administrators to encourage their new teachers to participate. And we usually, especially in the beginning of the year, get really good participation because it's really topics that are of interest to the new teachers.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Kuzan?
New teachers participating.
In Boost or
You said
in,
it was a volunteer participation? What percentage did you have that participated into it?
what do you mean,
Would you
in our
guess at
Boost
it?
program?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead.
Is that what he was asking?
I think he's
For
asking
Bo-
about the Boost program.
Yeah.
Or I
For-
don't know if you're asking about the new teacher induction program.
I was asking about you mentioned that in the Boost program that it was volunteer.
Correct.
What percentage of the new teachers did you have in
So
that volunteer?
last year, probably at sessions, we would have anywhere from 30 to 50.
Any other questions, Mr. Kuzan? Thank you. Any other questions from other board members? All right.
And I
Thank
know Dorable had it on the slide, but Miss Debbie Green just walked in too, and the Federation provided lunch that day. And I think that was our best lunch ever
It's a
too.
good lunch.
Everybody was like seriously loving the lunch. And so I forget who it was that y'all used, but
Bow legs.
they did a good job, and they enjoyed being there as well. And I think I said it the other night when Bruce was leaving, but we also want to thank Mandeville High for
Yes,
opening their
absolutely.
doors this early to the start of school year. And they, Bruce and
team was
his
excellent.
staff were
Yes.
very, very helpful and
And very
accommodating.
accommodating.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for that report. Well, that actually concludes our meeting, and while it's a short meeting for this month, we know that everyone has been very busy during the summer getting things ready for the next school year, and we want you to know how much we appreciate that, and we know that we'll have a good start in the next couple of days, and thank you very much for that. No other business? I'll declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you. As the invocation and pledge were said at our previous meeting, we'll dispense with those here. There are no persons requesting time on the agenda this evening. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the committee as a whole meeting held July 6, 2017?
Move.
Mrs. Seeley moves, second by Mrs. Heintz. All those, any discussion by board members? Any discussion by the public? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Item 5, consideration of changes to staff dress, accessories, and grooming policy. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Good evening, everyone. Just as a little background information, our staff meets with the Administrative Liaison Committee, which consists of principals and assistant principals throughout the year. And this past spring, they came to us and wanted us to take a look at our our school staff dress, accessories, and grooming policy, and they had some suggestions, and we are in agreement with these suggestions and recommending them tonight. In your packet is a copy of the current policy with the 2 changes highlighted, and that's on number 6. It says if no students are on campus on the professional development day / record keeping day at the end of the 1st and 3rd grading periods, teachers may wear jeans as long as they are not going off campus for a workshop. And the second change they would like to see, and again, we are in agreement, leggings may be worn under tunic tops or skirts that are fingertip length or no more than 5 inches above the knee. Leggings have gotten out of control over the past few years. It's a fashion that we're going through, I guess. I haven't tried on any, but I can tell you that they can be pretty revealing. So
And for that, we're profoundly thankful.
Yeah. So we're asking for these 2 changes tonight. We're recommending those, and we would need a recommendation from this committee.
All right, the policy changes is before the board. Is there a motion to accept? Mr. Hennegan moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Jeter. Any discussion by board members? Mrs. Bellisario.
On that very last item, number 9, I would think it would be more appropriate if we just put a period after fingertip length. And I'd like to hear from some other board members on that. I think 5 inches above the knee is a little high.
Mrs. Bellisario, would you like to make a motion to amend the policy?
I was really preferring to hear if anybody else had anything to add to that. Later, I might.
Okay. Mrs. Seeley?
Basically, fingertip length could be, if somebody is taller, that may make a difference too. I don't know, but 5 inches could be a little bit higher than to be expected. Maybe just fingertip length.
Thank you. Mrs. Heintz?
Would you maybe want to consider and/or? Because that might help.
Mr. Jabias, can you offer any further comments on why the 5 inches?
This was a recommendation from that group, and it seemed appropriate, but
Sure.
We're open to whatever this board would like to do.
Okay, thank you. All right, Mrs. Bellisario, anything?
Would you like to do that down here?
I was thinking if you put a period at the end of a length, you're gonna have to capitalize the O in or.
I think she's talking about eliminating the rest of the sentence, Mr. Bettencourtt,
That's probably the better.
after the period.
That's probably.
Oh, Mrs. Heintz.
Let me suggest that we try it like this, and if we see that it's not working, that we consider amending it again. That's
Okay.
my suggestion.
All right, Mrs. Bellisario.
I think my suggestion might be until the other female board members are here to discuss it too. Maybe they have something to say, I don't know. To me, 5 inches above my knee, I know it's very high. That's all.
Okay, thank you. All right, any further discussion? All right, not hearing any comments from the public? All right, not seeing any there. Call the question. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
2. Mrs. Bellisario and Mrs. Seeley abstain. Motion carries. All right. Thank you, Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you.
Now moving on to item 6, consideration of school board policies, sections DJE, DJED, and section E.
Thank you again, Mr. Nation. We did have a work session where we worked on all three of these groups of policies, and we are bringing them to you tonight. We did make some corrections as the group that was in that work session recommended some changes on policy DJE. On page 6, we added authorized by the superintendent was a suggestion, so that is included in this packet. And then on, that's all on DJE and DJED. There were no changes on DJED. So I don't know if you want to take all of them as a group or the two from DJE and DJED. Let me just go ahead and go through the other ones too.
Sure.
And then you can go ahead and decide what we want to do there. On policy E, which is business management, we did have two corrections. One on file EBBD, where we made the superintendent shall notify and update school board members of any school closing or cancellation upon the decision to close or cancel school. And on policy EE, we added guideline restrictions on the operation of concession, canteen, snack bars, vending machines, and/or other food and beverage sales. So these were suggestions by the work group that we did incorporate into the group, and we're asking for your recommendation for approval for these. One more, the copyright thing. I think there were some board members that had some questions on the copyright. We feel that what we have on the copyright covers everything that was in the old policy. Just so all the board members know what we intend to do, so that copyright is very, very important to our teachers with so many materials, and making sure they don't violate this law, is that we're going to make this part of our Safe Schools training, where every teacher has to do this annually. It's a software we already have in place. We can add to that and add this policy in there, and that will assure that they have to review it, and we have their digital signature that say they did, and it's kept electronic. So that's one way of assuring and being able to track teachers as they move in and out of the parish, and making sure everybody gets the policy. So it'd be done annually.
Very good. Unless
Okay.
there's any objection from the committee, we'll take these as a whole.
That's fine.
All right. So the policies are before the committee. Is there a motion to accept?
I do.
Mr. Kuzan moves and Mr. Hersey seconds. All right. The floor is open for comments, questions by committee members. Very good. Any questions, comments from the public? Okay, not seeing any there. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for all your continued hard work.
Oh, thank the board. I think it's
And,
going real good. The process that we have now, we'll be coming to you next month before the committee is old with another group.
And thank you to all the trees that have,
Yes.
have given their lives for these policies. All right, moving on to administrative. Mr. Jabbia.
Thank you. Your monthly maintenance and custodial report was sent to you electronic. Mr. Singletary and his staff is here if you have any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Singletary? Okay, not seeing any.
The monthly risk management report is in your packet. Mr. Gaspard is here if you have any questions.
Anything for Mr. Gaspard? All right, moving on to item C.
The transportation report is also in your packet. Mr. Alfonso and some of his staff is here tonight if you have any questions. And I also would like to point out to you, we placed in your packet a little flyer on our hotline, which we started Tuesday, Steve, or Monday? Tuesday. We started. We have some employees that are working early and staying late. It's working real good. Mr. Alfonso did communicate that with me today. Everything is going well on it. It's a big help to our parents to be able to make these calls, find out what buses they ride, and we get the bus driver, get in touch with them. So it's a good thing, and it's going well. But Mr. Alfonso is here if you have any other questions.
Any questions for Mr. Alfonso, particularly as we begin school? Start down at the end, Mr. Hennegan and then Mr. Durman.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Alfonso,
I thought he was leaving when you asked the question.
Yeah, he got up to leave. So we do the new teacher orientation, have a couple-day program on that. So can you tell me what we do for school bus drivers?
New employees or all employees?
Well, both actually.
On July 12th, we had a packet day where we gave all the drivers, all the ones returning, their route, and all the pertinent paperwork for this coming school year. And after they turned in all their paperwork, all new employees, which we had 25 new hires, we did an hour-and-a-half in-service on the transportation department, passenger and safety management, also how to fill out all the paperwork that's required in the transportation department. So we did that July 12th.
Good. Well, what I was going to recommend is maybe in the future, if we have time to squeeze in a half day or something on driver safety training. Many companies provide these, and I've been, attended several of them, and that's all, just something to think about. It doesn't, even professional drivers, I think, need to go to those.
Yes, sir. Maybe that's something we can incorporate now, October
Future.
in service.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Hennegan. Mr. Derman.
I was just going to ask about the, do we have any open positions now, or and how's our substitute pool?
The substitute pool is really expanding. We currently have around 40 right now. We did deplete it a little, but we had a class of 19 this summer that's going to be trained. We have a class August 21st or 25th, so those will be coming on sub pool. But currently, we have no openings. All routes are filled. Okay. So the sub list will expand. So everything's filled and everything's ready to go right now.
Mr. Javier said that was because of all of his efforts.
Yeah.
Starts from the top.
Yeah. I just really wanted to thank y'all's efforts with transportation, because this is a very busy time of year, and also with maintenance, because summer is also a very busy time for them, and I didn't get a chance to thank them in their section, so I'm overrunning back to them as well. But appreciate everybody's hard work, and not that Ms. Heintz already complimented the C&I staff, because summer is extremely busy for all of y'all. So we just want to thank y'all for all that hard work during the summer, in your summer vacations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Derman. Anything else for Mr. Alfonso? Mr. Alfonso, I guess I've got one just general question. Do we do any kind of promotional work or marketing work, so to speak, with parents to encourage them to use the bus system?
Yes, sir, we do. And everything that we do, we get it out to the schools, and then Meredith Mendez and her staff gets it out on all of our social media.
Great. Okay. Mrs. Seeley.
Do we provide transportation to local before and after care nursery schools or pre-K schools?
Currently, there are some that's grandfathered in. We don't, and the only way we do it, if it doesn't, we don't have to adjust our routes. If it's on the route and we can service it, we do. But we don't adjust what we do to service daycare programs.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Seeley. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Alfonso.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
And thank you, Mr. Jabbia, for your report. All right. Moving on now to Ms. Tipton and construction.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. We have several substantial completions. As I mentioned last month, this group, tonight, are the projects that we anticipated completing closer to the August board meeting. So our first one is recommends acceptance of Bayou Woods Elementary School metal roof coating and gutters as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz. STPSB project number R0017.
I so move.
All right. Motion by Mr. Womack, second by Mrs. Seeley. Any questions or comments for Ms. Tipton on this project? Any questions or comments from the public? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay.
Item 2 is recommends acceptance of Boyette Junior High School gymnasium and library roofing repairs as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foltz, STPSB project number R0018.
Motion by Mrs. Bellisario, second by Mr. Kuzan. Any questions or for Mrs. Tipton on this project? Okay, not seeing any. Anything from the public? Not seeing any there. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Number 3.
Recommends acceptance of Florida Avenue Elementary School gymnasium repairs as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foles, STPSB project number P0132.
All right. Motion by Mr. Kuzan, second by Mr. Hersey. Any questions or comments from board members regarding this project? Okay, not seeing anything from the public? Not seeing anything there. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Now to the west side of the parish.
Item 4 is recommends acceptance of Lancaster Elementary School classroom wing addition as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foles, STPSB project number 1493.
Okay, motion by Mrs. Heintz, second by Mr. Derman. Any questions or comments from board members? Any questions or comments from the public? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. Okay.
Item 5 is recommends acceptance of Madisonville Elementary School modulars as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foles, STPSB project number P0146.
Is there a Mrs. Heintz moves, Mr. Loup seconds. Any questions or comments from board members? Any questions or comments from the public? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Any abstention? Motion carries. All right, and our last one?
Item 6 is recommends acceptance of Mandeville High School modular relocation and infrastructure as substantially complete, subject to architect's recommendations, submission of all regulatory requirements, and approval of Superintendent Foles, STPSB project number P0148.
Motion by Mr. Hennegan, and I'll second that. Any questions or comments from the public? I mean, from the board members, excuse me, committee members. Anything from the public? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed by like sign. Motion carries. All right. Monthly construction report.
Yes, sir. I have a quick report. The summer weather has been, without a doubt, very challenging for all of our construction projects this year. However, all projects are finishing as much as possible and buttoning up for the start of the school year, and where needed, will complete work in coordination with the school operations. Final inspections are in process at Lancaster Elementary, Madisonville Elementary, and Mandeville High, and we're thinking that these projects will come together, but the schools do have backup plans. We want to acknowledge and appreciate the flexibility of the school administrators, IT, and maintenance on working with us on these projects with the tight time frame. All roofing work and exterior waterproofing projects are complete or very near completion. Interior repairs are complete, and exterior roof edge is being completed at Florida Avenue Elementary Gym. Renovations at North Shore High School are complete. At Clearwood Junior High, the interior renovations are complete, and the consumer science kitchen counter areas are near completion, and the portable classroom buildings are staged to be removed from the site. The cafeteria and entry for Carolyn Park Middle School is complete, and the gym restrooms are near completion. The site for Alton Elementary parking lot has fill in place and is staked. As soon as the weather allows and the site is dry, the contractor will proceed with work. The new limestone parking lot and practice field for Mandeville High is complete. At Slidell High, the HVAC units are on site for the gym. The plumbing rough-in above the new slab is in place in the locker room and the gym lobby restrooms. At Pearl River High, the work continues to progress in the classroom wing renovation area and in the new interior mall and front entry. The cafeteria seating area and band room renovations are complete as well. At Mayfield Elementary, work at the entry drive and front driveway is nearing completion, and work continues to progress in the new two-story wing addition and gym. Many trades are on site and continue to progress at Fontainebleau Junior High, including painting, ceiling grid installation, flooring, and cabinetry installation, and electrical and mechanical work. At Abney Elementary Library renovation, the interior walls are being painted. Work is complete in the 300-wing hallway, the main hall, and the entry at Mandeville Junior High, and the 200-wing renovations are near completion. The structural fill is in place for pupil appraisal building project. and the Lancaster Elementary first floor build-out project has been advertised for bids.
Thank you, Ms. Tipton. Any questions or comments from committee members for Ms. Tipton? Okay, thank you,
Thank
as
you.
always.
If I could, I know
Absolutely.
Cameron talked about thanking everyone, and it's our theme, of course, this year is together, and Cameron will be the first one to tell you that all those projects require, in addition to her department, IT, maintenance, and our business, our community businesses, our contractors, our subcontractors, as well as administrators at the schools that are working with us as well. So this is really a great example of togetherness and starting the year off together. So we just want to thank all the people that are involved with that. Cameron mentioned some of these will be right to the wire, which we understand and the principals understand. And the nice part about this, if one does not make it by opening day, it's not like we have to wait till semester or end of a 9 weeks. If it makes it, then the weekend, there we are, we move in and maintenance is ready to go to help where they can. So we'll keep pushing to the very last moment, but we do have a plan B in place for all these as well, so.
Great, thank you, Mr. Foles. Ms. Prevost.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Item A, to consider and take action with respect to adopting a resolution providing for the issuance and sale of general obligation school refunding bonds, Series 2017A of St. Tammany Parish Wide School District Number 12 of the Parish of St. Tammany, State of Louisiana, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. Mr. Sluter's here to answer your questions.
Okay, the motion, the resolution is before us. Is there a motion to, Mrs. Seeley moves and Mr. Derman seconds. Mr. Sluter, as
Thank you.
always, welcome.
Thank you very much. Grant Schluter with Foley Udell Bond Counsel, and you've done it again. So another refinancing at a lower interest rate this year. This is the Series 2011. Stephanie Ferry is here with Raymond James. They did a great job underwriting the bond issue. The outstanding 2011 bonds had interest rates ranging from 4% to 4.75%. The true interest cost on the new issue is 2.44%, so a sizable reduction. Net savings to taxpayers, and again, because these are GO bonds and you're refinancing, you can't extend the maturity. You can only reduce the principal and interest payments each year. Over the remaining life of the issue, that'll be just about $560,000. When you add that to your 9 previous issues, this is since 2004, this will be the 10th issue. Your grand total net savings to taxpayers is $11,506,000 and some change. So very sizable reductions. You had your AA confirmed again. Each time you do a new issue, you get a new bond rating. Standard & Poor's again affirmed the AA rating. Terry worked with the rating agencies, responded to their additional questions. Trey assisted also, the superintendent. And again, from their report that they issue, and I've mentioned this before, but they reiterated again two points that I take away. One, quote, historical maintenance of very strong reserves. And number 2, low debt burden, So it's a good story, and it reduces the obligation on your outstanding bond issues. Again, this is contributing again to your ability to reduce that bond millage periodically. You reduced it 1 mil this year. We anticipate you're going to be reducing it again next year. So this is part of it. There's other factors involved, but a key factor also is you're continually refinancing, taking advantage of the lower interest rates, and that is certainly benefiting and being able to look at the bond millage and reduce it whenever we can. So again, I expect that we'll be reducing it again next year.
Okay. This is a happy episode of Groundhog Day we seem to be in, so let's just keep doing it and doing it. So happy to have you up here every month. All right, any questions for Mr. Sluter or Ms. Prevost? Mary Kay, Mrs. Bellisario, excuse me.
That's okay. I just would like to say that's in light of a growing parish that still has to expand, we're still able to do that. I think that's admirable.
Exactly.
It has been phenomenal. You've been able to maintain your capital improvement program, keep your school facilities, your technology, security in good shape. The voters have approved this periodically, and each time you've gone out, it's with an indication, no projected increase in your millage rate, but you've not only done that, but you've periodically over the years reduced that bond millage rate. So it's continuing to go down as you've had additional projects over the last couple of decades.
Very good. Mr. Derman.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. Mr. Schluter, looking at everything we had on the agenda, I thought you'd have another anniversary tonight.
Oh, no. I do thank you. I did get out. We had a great time. Thank you very much.
I'm glad to hear that. You deserve it. I may have missed it, but is there any other bond issues, possible refinancing that may come up in the future?
There
is this
will
the
be,
last?
there will be down the line, yes, and we continually look at it. Stephanie looks at it, Terry, myself, the superintendent. So we're monitoring it constantly. Again, these refinancings are the function of two things. One, low interest rates, which we've had, which is good, but also you have to have the next call date that you can retire an outstanding issue coming up. It can't be too far away. So we're looking at each issue and continuing to monitor it.
And then the margin of difference between our current interest rate on those bonds versus what the refinance is going to dictate, if it's within that margin to actually
Absolutely.
benefit.
As soon as everyone has preliminary numbers that indicate we can exceed at that point in time the state bond commission requirements, we bring it immediately to you, and you've been very good about acting immediately. So we can get it to the state bond commission, get that approval, which can take 1 to 2 months, so that if the market continues or improves, we'll be able to take advantage of that, and we won't have that delay down the line that may prevent you from doing a refinancing. So once you hit that target, it's going to come to you for preliminary approval and go right to the State Bond Commission.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your efforts keeping us abreast.
Anything else? Well, I want to say once again, thank you, Mr. Schluter, and thank Stephanie and Raymond James for all the work you've done, and most importantly, thank you, Ms. Prevost and Mr. Foltz, for the strong fiscal management of the school system, because without that, we wouldn't be able to do what we've done.
AA bond rating.
Right.
That is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Schluter. All right. Anything, any other comments or questions from committee members? Anything from the public? All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed by like sign. Any abstentions? Motion carries. All right. Your next item, Ms. Prevost, Mrs. Prevost.
Item B is the monthly purchasing report, and Mrs. Stevens is here to answer any questions you may have.
Anything from Mrs. Stevens tonight? Oh, Mr. Bettencourtt.
Terry, maybe Wade might have to address this. On attachment D for our refrigerant, I understand the R427A as a replacement for the R22. Ballpark figure, this solar supply for a 25-pound cylinder was $170 roughly. What would the R22 be about now? At least double that, huh, if not more. 600 versus 170. Shoot, we're gonna end up doing as good as Mr. Schluter with saving the public money on this refrigerant. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you, Mr. Bettencourt. Anything else regarding the purchasing report? All right. Thank you, Mrs. Prevost. Well, that concludes the business before us. Any announcements from the president? Mr. Vice President.
Thank you, Mr. Nation. In Ms. Mullet's absence, I have these two announcements to be made. The first day of school is Thursday, August 10th, which we all are eagerly awaiting, because that's when I get to sing my song about going back to school to my
There you
wife. So I'm excited. She isn't, but I am. Yeah, I will. I'll sing it all next week. And then also the August 10th board meeting for board members. It's going to be in Slidell at the Brooks Curricular Center, so just a reminder. And that concludes the announcements.
Okay, very good. Mr. Foles.
If I could, board members, at your desk tonight, at your seat tonight, was your T-shirt and information from our administrators conference. Some of you were able to attend, and we certainly appreciate that, and picked up your shirt then, while others we wanted to give to you tonight. What we are doing this weekend is all of our administrators across St. Tammany Parish on this weekend will be wearing their T-shirts somewhere in St. Tammany Parish and taking a picture and sending it to Meredith and her staff, and we're going to publicize that through the week. The thinking was that parents and students and everyone will be out on the last weekend. We all know the excitement of that. So to show our togetherness with this parish, we've asked all of our administrators to put on their Together T-shirt like you have at your seat. Get out into the parish, into the communities, take a picture and send it to us, and we'll use that throughout this week leading up to Thursday for the first day of school. Also, next Thursday, we will give you our back-to-school report, since next Thursday will be the first day of school. We have a meeting that night, so I'm excited about that, and we'll certainly bring you some good news on a great first day of school. Thank you.
Okay, very good. Mr. Bettencourt.
Can they wear the leggings with those T-shirts? It's optional.
Right. All right, with no further business coming before the committee, the meeting is adjourned.